There you go.
Hello. Woof.
That was hot.
It's the Minnesota Pubcast.
No, I'm not hitting on you. That was just very loud.
Oh, that was so sad. And no, I'm not hitting on you.
Well, I would just say for those that are confused that maybe think we're dating,
Oh
I just want to make sure we get that fucking rumor
Definitely
stomped
not
on
dating
right
that
now.
bitch. That's Jason every day. You can turn it off now, Patrick.
You just fade her down, yeah.
This is a special edition of the Minnesota Pubcast because we have a producer.
Booyah.
Feels good. Feels good. Feels like we're almost important.
It feels the same for me pretty much, except for me just telling Patrick to shut the fucking
Well,
music
now
off,
you can
but-
talk shit to Patrick instead of me,
That's
which is
true.
nice.
Yeah.
We forgot
Patrick-
this works out for me actually.
Patrick, if I'm touching my headphones like this, it
Oh
means
my
I can't
God.
hear myself. But it
Oh
means
my
you
god,
need
I don't have to
turn me
deal with
up.
that. It's so nice.
Okay.
Because she's gonna ask you to turn her up, and then she's gonna ask you, but just turn it down just a little bit,
like just
and
a
then
slight
in
tinge
like
down.
15 minutes she's gonna say, I can't hear myself again. But it's fine. That's how it works over there. Good luck on that side of the board. It's really fun.
We drink on this show. Things change when you're drinking.
That's a good. I guess I never took into account the alcohol because whenever I'm on that side of the board, I
Yeah.
feel that I'm in the zone, and I'm not even with my buzz. I'm still like. I'm locked down on what's supposed to be
locked
going on that thing.
Well, this show is about to get a lot more drunker.
Wow. What, the Prosecco's hitting you? Or?
Well, no, I'm just saying in general because now you can concentrate on talking and drinking.
That's a good point, too.
And
I
you
don't
to
have
touch the
hands
really-
full with the board.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the board. What are you guys drinking tonight? Because this is also a special drink. We never drink this shit on the show.
I never drink hard booze on the show. So, yeah, drinking a Captain Coke is not really... I mean, that's 17-year-old Jason, but not 34-year-old Jason. So we're going halfway back to back in the good old days of passing around a 175 of Captain until it was gone. Boy, did we have good times.
This is going to be the biggest change for me is you on my right like this.
Yeah, you're used
Because-
to just being able to look right across.
Because
at
I
me,
can
right?
usually just look right across, but now I'm like worried that you're not looking at my good side.
Oh, Jesus.
And you just have to, like, you don't normally look at me, like, you normally look at me
No
straight
outlets in
on.
this housework. Unbelievable.
God.
I can't, anyway,
Well, one of
so
them's
we don't
working
have the
at least.
list. I can pull up on can you pull it up on your phone? Do you have Drive on there? Do you have like
Google
Docs and
Google
all that?
Docs.
Just pull up the doc. But we know most of what we're going to talk about. I think. What did you want to start with though? We never even
Well,
decided what we were going to start
Since
with.
Patrick is here.
Yes.
Patrick is the alive and social connoisseur, and we never know what's going on our network just because
we're busy. Honestly,
We're busy.
That's
That's it. That's seriously it. We love the other shows. We just are
I have
so
a new
busy.
job, and
He's
you
got a new
have
job.
a
I
real
have a-
job.
Yeah.
That's. I mean,
You
that's
are
enough right there.
important.
We're all important.
We're all important.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. I'm excited. I'm always excited. There's new shows starting. We got live music shows, stuff. Lots of stuff going on. What do you guys want to know?
Well, why don't you start out with the live music
Yeah, what's
thing?
the
Is
live
that next
music?
week? I believe that's next Wednesday
night.
Okay,
Yeah,
I drink
we
this
got-
like water. I'm
it's
sorry.
good stuff. We got Mark.
My God, it's already gone.
Mark Andrew from he was on The Voice and he was
Oh.
on the American Idol. He's doing a backyard show like the
He's
Tim
done
Mahoney
both.
show.
I didn't know
Yeah.
anybody
Pretty
had done
cool.
both.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a
gonna
lot
be
of people
catered
that
in.
do
I'm
Really?
making.
But I
all
mean,
the
actually,
food.
he made it like to the TV stuff. And
Yep,
okay,
mhm.
well, that shows how much I follow reality TV.
Yeah, he's
but-
really popular. He's really cool and really good too. Basically, they're just trying to promote like live music on a lot of these shows we're doing. We're getting the bands on. We're making like YouTube videos and Facebook videos.
Cool.
Just
That's
trying to like
sponsored
promote.
by the network,
Right,
obviously.
and the sponsors that we have on
Yeah.
the individual
Sure.
shows.
Well, why don't we talk about those really quickly too, since that's where the money comes from? Who is sponsoring the network these days, and who should we give a little plug to?
Well, I can just know my sponsors. Blue and White Taxi started a new show with Tim Mahoney.
Sweet.
The Blue and White Cabcast.
The
starring
always
Tim
reliable.
Mahoney. The always reliable, the always funny, the always on time Tim Mahoney. It's going great. We're launching that show this Tuesday on the network. We're going to release like short YouTube clips to begin, and then we're going to release like full episodes. But basically, Tim just gets drunk, drives around in a cab, picks up drunk people, sings
God.
music, does stupid crazy
Hold on, does he have
shit.
a guitar in the
Oh,
car?
sometimes, yeah, it's pretty funny. But he totally
That's
makes fun of
amazing.
himself, and then it's
He's just having fun with it.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Like he did this bit the other day where he ran out of the front steps here and yelled "blue and white" and then fell flat on his face right on the front yard.
For real?
Yeah, and then he chased this cab down that wouldn't pick him up and was like, "I'm Tim Mahoney. Don't you know who I am? I was on The
God.
Voice." It was
Sounds
great.
like my cab passenger nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. But
It makes for good radio.
yeah, sponsors are coming around here. We got a bunch of sponsors. I can just plug mine, Blue and Whites, the Chart House, Floyd's, Coors, Third Street Brew House. So
Perfect.
we're working on some sponsorships for all the shows, adding a bunch of new shows. The one I'm most excited about is my good friend Sarah Sheely joined up with the former Senate Majority Leader Amy Koch and former governor candidate Karen Housley, Phil Housley's wife.
I know the Housley,
Yeah.
their daughters, actually. I worked with Taylor.
Okay. Yeah, and they're doing a fantasy football show, a women's
Cool.
fantasy football show, women's centric.
Cheers
Cool.
to them.
Women sponsors. It's going to be fun. They're going to compete with the men, We're having a big draft party kickoff on the rooftop of 7 on August 22nd. We're really looking forward to it.
I'm really glad we brought you in here because we had
Jason and
no
I
idea.
will- No, we knew Jason. Don't pretend like we
I
didn't
mean,
know.
I'm glad to announce. Tell you that share this information with you.
No,
We'll
we're
be there.
soft launching the show, so we're going to.
There's a red carpet for us. Right?
Yeah, exactly. You guys should come though. It'll be fun. 612 Brew House. We got a bunch of fun stuff coming up. So
What night of the week
Duh.
would that be?
we're going to do it on Thursday night. And
perfect.
this one's
That
going to be
happens to be my night off.
This is going to be on Saturday because it's our draft party.
It happens to not be my night off.
But
Damn.
it's going to be Thursday night before Thursday night football. So
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
going to kind of bring the crowd
Cool.
in first. Yeah, we're trying to do it at a bar downtown. I can't, confirm or deny any place like the Poor House
I like
or
that.
anything like that.
But that could just possibly be one of the.
Maybe.
One
so.
of them. You'll see.
Yeah, it's a fun, exciting time. I love doing the shows. I love producing the shows, with Wild Wednesday kind of ending for the summer. Jason and Molly offered me an opportunity to come in and just kind of practice running the board and help them out a little bit. Let them focus on their drinking and their talking smack and dating.
I like that he sees the priorities because it is the drinking the mostly
Yeah.
thing. I can't run the board, be on the computer, and have a beer in my hand at the same time.
It is
or a
tough.
Captain Coke,
No,
as the
that's
case
true.
may be.
And I'm just doing my normal thing. I'm sitting here with
And
a
you're
glass of
always
wine.
drinking, yes.
And I'm wearing a maxi dress and I have my chihuahua in my lap. It's not a lie.
Yeah.
This is where Periscope comes in. So people can see what we're talking about. But
But my hair is wet and I just went for a bike ride, so I'm kind of like still cool.
did you ride your bike here?
I drove
In the
tonight,
rain?
but
Okay.
I went for my work bike ride right before this.
Oh, you still did do that.
We did
okay,
it.
you
did
snuck that
yeah.
in.
We snuck it in for
Good.
it's like an hour and a half bike ride.
How many miles?
Not that long.
That's not that far,
We,
yeah.
we go slow. We go slow. We do. I mean, there's a lot of different levels of bike riders. There's serious bike riders, and there's people who are just out there for a little bit of exercise. And so we try and,
I've only been out there with the serious folk that go insane, and then it's just
I love
balls
it.
to the wall the
I love
entire
it.
time. 30 miles, 8 of them through trails at night. Like, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's how
crazy.
I do.
No,
With their
crazy.
spandex outfit.
with their spandex. Yeah.
No, that's the one thing. The one buddy might have, but my one buddy that's hardcore, he never did go that far, which
Good.
I applaud.
Yes.
You
Wait,
do
that's
not
the-
need a
we've
uniform.
already
We talked about this. You do not
No.
need a uniform
That's
to
the
ride a
most
bike.
comfortable thing to.
Sure, but it's
You were
not
shushing
necessary.
me.
I was almost about to, but no,
like,
it's
wait.
just not necessary. Do we? So have you got the document up yet? I mean,
Well,
where do
I've
we
been-
want to start tonight?
I'm
There's.
installing it right now.
I feel like we could have almost just redone last week's show since it was so bad.
God, please just
That's
what?
my bad. I might delete it. I might just actually take it off
I
there
think
so
we
nobody
should.
ever gets to listen to that. Because holy shit! I mean, the content was actually pretty good if you can get past the audio quality, but no bumps. I mean, literally, 40 seconds of just dead air waiting for
2
us to come
minutes of
back.
silence.
2 minutes of silence for the clip you tried to play.
Oh my God, which was a really good.
my
clip.
It was
God.
rough, ladies and
Oh
gentlemen.
my god!
I
See, and you
listened
tried to
it.
listen to it. Oh,
God, you did.
Jesus.
I was talking smack too. I'm like, hey, Jason, was this your first day at the office? Because he's the producer guy. That's
You'd
how I
think.
know him. He was
He's
You'd
the
think.
producer guy.
Well, no, and just to defend myself a little bit, usually when you step into a place that is always used for making podcasts, this little studio, you would think that it would always be set up that you can basically turn it on and you turn on the board and it runs. And everything was turned off and turned differently. And I don't
Whatever.
know what the hell. Anyway,
Oh no.
you kind of got the docs
Oh,
up. Oh, are you at it?
no.
Oh, no more treats. Don't
Oh,
give your dog that.
shit.
Um,
I'm sorry. That's it. I'm sorry, man. I already gave you a treat earlier.
he's so excited. Dude.
Oh, he's
This
so
poor little
excited.
guy. The tail. Look at the
Oh
tail.
man. Oh, sorry,
too bad.
Oliver.
No treat for
Oh,
you.
no.
Wow, she came hit the
Oh,
recycling. All right. Anyway,
Oh, this is starting out great.
this is
guys.
a great start of the pubcast.
Okay, well, let's get into some stuff once I get the Google
Once
Doc
you can,
open.
what are you downloading the damned app or what? Is that where we're
Yeah.
at right now? Well, I remember ghosting. We had that on there for sure. Okay, we have. Hold on. How is this not topic A, and how did we not just start with this? How bad is True Detective? Oh my God, I could write a show in my sleep better than that. And this is supposed to, I mean, this is HBO. How did HBO read this second season and go, no, or not go, no?
There are a lot of bad HBO shows. There are a lot of good HBO shows. But let's
something that's on par for as bad as this season of True Detective as an HBO show.
See, I'm still entertained, but there are moments of certain shows of HBO where I'm like biting my knuckles. Like, this is horrible.
See, I guess I don't get far enough into an HBO show that I don't like. So True Blood, actually. And
True Blood. So cheesy.
True Blood after about 2 seasons
writing,
was horrible.
Even
the second season was pretty bad. But
we still watch it.
That's true.
We still watch it.
But now True Detective is become so bad that it's comical. So it's almost about how do you make a show with this many good actors in it, this many good people behind it, and still create such a shitty product? And it's, where do you take this horrible product is what I'm wondering. And how many bad lines can you fit into 1 hour?
The end there where they're all staring at each other was pretty fucking cheesy.
Super cheesy. So is I've never even had a cavity. The whole he puts all the sugar in his coffee and oh my God, that was so bad.
Fucking cavity.
Honestly, there was episode one, I was okay, this is interesting. Episode 2, I was like, yeah, this is still interesting. Episode 3, you're kind of going, eh. Episode 4, you're going, this is a piece of shit. I mean, it's just getting worse. I mean, I'm hoping for some redeeming factor, but I'm reading like on Grantland their reviews. I read them every week. I love it because they're critical, but they're still hoping to. They're wishing that this will go somewhere.
But here's the thing: the last season of True Detective. No, oh no!
Wow,
I know. It's a prosecco.
Uh-huh.
The last season of True Detective. That show was super over the top writing. Rust Cole's character and his philosophies were so crazy and so just cheesy at times, like his lines.
See, I didn't think that with him.
But it was something, but if you were to go back and read the shit that he says, like if I were to read some of his quotes, they wouldn't be any as cheesy as this season, but it's something about his character and how Matthew McConaughey delivered it that makes it different.
Challenge for next week: you pull some quotes, pull a couple. I'm guarantee you can just Google it. But I
got it, guys. That's my job now.
Oh, what are you doing?
Yeah, Google search that shit.
Google search that shit.
No, no, but I mean, honestly, the biggest point that you're right about is that it's Matthew McConaughey delivering the lines. So it's different than what it is this year anyway. But his little looking out the window, deep thought shit that he would deliver at Woody Harrelson's character, which I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I was going, this is cool. Like
the banter between the two of them.
Yeah, those scenes, those just one-on-one scenes where they were talking, and usually it would end with Woody Harrelson going, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you're insane. But I was digging it. I was not going, oh, that's super cheesy, that's too too deep in the mind. I liked it. This year, it's like they're almost not trying or trying way too hard, and I'm assuming trying way too hard, but they're trying to create these cute lines, and they're just not there because there's nothing else there. There's no substance to this. There's no substance to the story. There's not much substance to the characters.
I'll let the story play out a little bit longer.
No, but
I don't
you only
care.
have 10 episodes. We're almost halfway through the season. No, you have 8 episodes. We are halfway through. We're halfway through. We have no idea what's going on. No one knows.
8 episodes of this?
That's what True Detective's 8 episodes. Yeah.
Oh,
that's how they do it. Yeah. So
I thought it was 10.
I don't. I'm 99% sure it's 8. So we're halfway there, and nothing's happened.
You can just pull up words, Patrick. You don't even have to pull up a video.
I don't necessarily need a clip or anything. We just
need Rust Cole quotes.
Yeah, deep quotes by Rust Cole. That's what that deep thoughts. I wish it would be like deep thoughts by Jack Handy.
Rust Cole quotes. Okay, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so disappointed. I think that this. I mean, again, I think we talked about this last week, but Vince Vaughn has been not utilized at all. Colin Farrell is the only one that's even holding the show together because his character is kind of interesting. Rachel McAdams is like a moron because she can't see anything that's going on around her and doesn't see how she's completely intertwined in the middle of it. It's so bad. It's so bad.
She became a detective.
Oh my god!
What happened to the last one? And here's the other thing about this that I noticed. Spoiler alert: huge fight scene on last week's episode.
The shootout, yeah,
huge shootout, right?
The most pointless. Sorry.
So big shootout, lots of action. You know, like all right,
bunch of dead bodies, yeah.
Little intense, whatever.
Yep.
That fight scene, which I thought again was well directed for a fight scene. You know, you get.
That's what Grantland said too. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was well directed. I thought it was exciting. Whatever. And slightly realistic. Okay. I gave zero shits about who died in that fight scene. I didn't really want the main characters to die, but I really didn't care. It was half as intense, not even that, quarter of intense, minuscule intense as the big scene in True Detective where Russ Cole and whatever his name is, I don't even remember his name. Woody Harrelson's character.
We can't remember his character's name, yeah.
They go into, like the projects in that house scene where they have the helicopters overhead and they have the guns and there's massive shit out. I mean, that scene was so intense and so well directed. And I think
it's one shot too,
and it was like really cool. It was like white knuckling it. This one I was like, oh, well, this is kind of intense. I didn't give two fucks about it.
It seemed like a action scene thrown in to put in an action scene in a show that hasn't had enough action.
Sure.
Like it was almost just gratuitous violence. And that's what this show is. It's gratuitous in every way. It's just bad writing. It's bad everything. And I don't know how much these guys got paid for it, but boy, they could probably be making some films that would be much better than this.
I'm hoping it's one of those instances where a show comes out super hot and super good, and the second season, for some reason, they just don't find their feet and they try something new already. And then the third season, they pick it back up again, and it's fucking good.
I think that's what's going to happen.
I hope that's what happens in this case.
Let's. Where are we at on time here? How far are we into the show here?
We're getting close to the first break here.
I was going to say, why don't we take a quick break and let's come back, talk about Mr. Robot real quick, and then we'll dive into a few other things right here on the Minnesota Pubcast.
Reach for this one.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back online.
Just turn it on, kind of. That took a very PG direction.
Along comes this hit show.
I'm constantly burping on stage.
Hey, you heard about Madonna, right?
Twin Cities hit show with Rusty, Courtney, and Chuck.
Had she fallen to the ground and her eyes rolled into the back of her head, what would you, Tim Mahoney, have done?
I'd have tried to make out with her.
Nice. Get in line.
The Twin Cities hit show with Rusty, Courtney, and Chuck airs live daily, 9:30 to 10:30 on the Alive and Social Network.
Ever swallowed a bug or choke like Courtney on stage?
Yeah. I meant to do this.
The term foodie can sometimes come across as a tickle pretentious. BT and Lydia are here to demystify the term and reclaim it for the sake of good food. Their weekly podcast brings in fellow foodies and culture creators from the Twin Cities to talk about all things food. Find this duo only on the Alive and Social Network.
Hey everybody, this is comedian Paul Mercurio, and I'm very excited to say that I packed up my podcast, The Paul Mercurio Show, which wasn't my first choice for a name. My first choice was Go Ahead, Touch It, but apparently that didn't test well. Well, I'm taking my podcast and I'm moving it to the Alive and Social Network, which is weird because I'm neither alive nor very social. I've interviewed a few people you might know, like Sir Paul McCartney. Yeah, that guy. He was in a band or something, I'm not sure. Stephen Colbert, Bob Costas, Jay Leno, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kristen Chenoweth, and many, many more. I've won Emmy and Peabody Awards for my work on The Daily Show. I've had my own Comedy Central special, been on HBO, and I'm excited to be part of the new network. The Paul Mercurio Show is available on iTunes, Android, and available at paulmercurio.com. Listen to my show every week. Every week you will get rich. How? I give you a foolproof method to go out and make $100,000 without ever leaving your couch. Okay, that's a lie, but the podcast, it's good.
Do you know this?
Jam.
Do you know who this is at all?
No.
Hippocampus.
Oh, Hippocampus. Yeah.
I am so into this EP. I don't. This is the only music I can find of theirs. I think they'll have like 6 songs out, but God, they're awesome.
It's a part of your brain too.
What's that? The Hippocampus?
Yeah.
It is. It is. You're right.
What a great name. What a great band name then. Wow. Well done. Welcome back, Minnesota Pubcast. All right. So, okay. Have you seen Mr. Robot yet?
No,
have
I
you
don't have
watched
time
the
for this
trailer?
shit.
Have you seen anything yet?
No.
Okay. Mr. Robot is the best show on TV right now. I mean, honestly, I'm trying to think of what else could possibly be better.
Oh, look at him.
Look at you and your damn dog. Have you seen The Leftovers? Did you watch The Leftovers?
I watched 5 episodes of The Leftovers and then I stopped watching.
You gave up on it after 5?
I didn't give up on it. I just got busy and
Okay.
it didn't pull
So
me
you didn't
in.
you didn't stop watching because you didn't like it anymore.
I saw the new preview for next season though.
Yes, looks really good.
Looks interesting.
Yeah. No, I'm waiting for that.
What was it? It supposedly takes place around the town. I'm assuming here. The preview is a road, and people are all parked alongside the road, and they're all happy and playing football.
Well, I
and
think they're
listening
trying to
music.
get out of town, and they can't.
Okay, they're trying
I think
to get
that's
out of town.
the basis of it.
Okay, and they can't. But it says population, blah blah blah. What do they call the people that leave?
Oh shit!
Like
The Departed or something? Or-
it's something like that. Departed, and it says
It was like
0.
Departed 0. Yeah, it's like nobody gets out. Basically, is the point. It's like it's purgatory or something.
Oh, I thought it was people like no one's disappeared.
Oh no!
what
I
I
think they
mean?
were trying to say that once you're in this town, like if you are one of the people that's still there, you're never getting out. That's the way I took it.
Oh.
But who knows? That's what's kind of cool about that
Anyway,
trailer.
it was
is
interesting.
It doesn't really
And
say much.
I'm gonna finish the first season because I did like it. I didn't think it was great, but I liked it.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was the best show ever, but it was very good. But Mr. Robot, for those that don't know, I mean, this has been done before, a hacker show. But this one is totally on a different level,
Mr.
really well
Robot.
written.
They call him Mr. Robot because he's really good at hacking, or is it an actual robot?
Well,
You don't wanna
the
tell me?
star of the show isn't Mr. Robot, first of all.
Oh.
So, I won't say anymore.
Okay, what channel is it on?
This is the part where you go, I'm not watching that. It's on USA.
Oh,
It's on USA. That's why I had 2
Mr.
different buddies of
Robot.
mine that were very, that are very into TV and are pretty much the same taste as me, and they told me to watch a show that was on USA, and I said, no, I'm not doing that. And it's got all the cursing, the drug use, the sex, like everything that you would see on like HBO, but it's on USA. I don't even know how this happened. I don't even know if they actually show it on TV or if it's just online. I mean, it seems
Or
like
if
this
it's
is not
sponsored by
something that
the
could be
USA
on USA. Or
Network. Yeah.
and they have been even on. This is one thing I don't get, by the way. Just sidebar. When you have a show that you play online, even if you have a Comcast password, whatever it may be, if you play it online, you can throw in 30-second commercials during your breaks,
Yes,
and none of us are going to get pissed about it. You're wasting money. And MLB, by the way, if you ever watch a game on MLB Network, and like online or if you have the package or whatever, there's spots where they'll go through the entire break and they don't show an ad.
okay.
How are you not showing an ad for MLB Network at the fucking least? Like, you're just letting us sit there with a little logo for 1 minute and 45 seconds. Why would you? You're wasting so much money. There's so much money to be made, and you're just not selling it. I don't
ads
understand
cost
that.
a lot of money.
But sell them cheap. Sell them
true.
for $5. If you sell 1,000 of those, you have $5 more $1,000 than you did.
Okay. Anyway.
So where do we want to go with that? I just want to talk
I
about
don't
Mr.
know.
Robot.
So
They have to go watch that, obviously. But
So it's a good storyline. It's a good acting. What's your favorite part about it?
It's the acting, because it's super intense. Every bit of
Is
it
it
is
anybody I would
intense.
know?
Well, Christian Slater's in it.
Oh, Christian Slater, okay.
He's kind of like the low key, but kind of the star. And then the guy who is the star, I do not know his name, but I've seen him in other things, and he's super good at being this. I mean, his whole character is socially awkward. Really smart computer-wise, like the typical nerd, but he plays it like not a nerd. He's more kind of like a freak, but yet you completely relate to him. I don't know.
Cool.
Go check it out. It's very well done.
Thanks for the recommendation.
The heads up. Honestly, I think that's actually something that if you're going to listen to this show, I wouldn't necessarily listen for like our deep thoughts or any of that kind of
What?
stuff. I would actually come to listen to the show more for our TV and movie recommendations.
shitty
and
movie
music.
recommendations?
Yeah, I think we're actually better at that than we are at the deep dialogue.
Speak for yourself, Jason. We just
Well, no,
said,
if you dig the deep dialogue,
you just
that's
said
awesome.
it's good
But
acting.
if nothing
and it's
else,
really good. It's
come
on
back to
USA.
this.
Go watch it.
That was my.
We
take.
talk about
You
the
that?
things that everyone else. Game of Thrones. It's really good. Go watch it. You know
Fuck
what?
that. That is not the way we talk about Game of Thrones.
Mr. Robot is kind of a. I like that you brought it up though, because it is kind of an under the radar show.
And the
that-
name sounds terrible. And even like the logo,
I don't
it's
know, it
like
doesn't
very
really bother me.
80s. But it just sounds super typical to or something too.
Robot.
If you heard there was a show called Mr. Robot on USA and that's all you heard, you would never contemplate
No.
watching it.
Netflix should buy it or something.
You want to go ghosting? You want to go Serena? Where do you want to go?
I think we go to the dating world.
Uh-oh. Dating world. Are you queued up there, bud? There we are.
You said on our very first date that you don't like flowers, that they're a waste of money.
Every girl likes flowers, Gary.
You say that you don't like flowers. I'm supposed to take that to mean that you do like flowers?
No, this is not about. You're not getting it.
I said, all a woman really wants you to do is ask her the correct questions that will allow her to run her fucking back.
Everybody has their time. Everybody has their time.
Well,
I mean,
not
not everybody. There are people out there who there's just nobody for them.
Yep.
Yep.
I wasn't looking for a girl like that.
Well, Columbus wasn't looking for America, my man, but that seemed to work out for everybody, didn't it? You're here. You know what I mean?
Never have a friend as a female. You know, you always got to be fucking them. That's the only reason to be around them.
I hope that's your nephew.
Yeah. Uncle, why are you
Can
single?
I tell you what my little brother said to me the other day?
What's that?
My little brother's 11. He lives in Ohio, and he came to visit. And he's a really sweet little kid, but he's always very concerned about my relationship status. And I'm texting
An 11-year-old.
Yeah, I'm texting yesterday, and he goes, "Are you texting your boyfriend?" And I go, "No, I'm texting my friend Alex." And he goes, "Well, is it a guy?" And I said, "No, it's a girl." And he goes, "Well, do you have guy friends?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, are you ever going to date any of them?" And I said, "No, probably not." And then he goes, "Well, are you ever going to date anyone?"
And then you looked for a gun or a sharp object.
And then on top of that, we're watching Airplane. It's like his favorite movie right now.
Wait, what?
He's Airplane. It's good. Great movie.
But an 11-year-old can appreciate it? That's amazing to me.
He loves the line about like the "I like it black like my men." Like he thinks that's so funny. But some of the more like sexual innuendos he doesn't get yet, which is
like
great.
the jive talkers and there's so
really
many things
he
you would
doesn't
never
get it.
get.
But
Yeah.
there's so many silly parts in that movie that 11-year-old could appreciate.
Sure.
But there's a scene in the movie where the stewardess is crying and you know, he goes, "Yeah, what's wrong?" And the plane's like crashing or whatever, you know. And she goes, "I'm 26 and I'm single." And Daniel looks at me and he goes, "Molly." I was like, "Oh, you're such a little shit." He's so worried about me.
So glad my nephew's only 3. He cannot come up with any of that shit yet. Jesus, I can only imagine the stuff he's going to have, though.
Oh my god. Anyway.
Anyway, well, the article that we did read was that from the New York Times?
Yeah,
About ghosting?
it was from the New York Times.
God, the New York. You know, there's somebody that would be looking down at the New York Times. You know, somebody who died 4 decades ago, going, "Wow, has that thing turned into a rag?" But anyway, I mean, because it's supposed to be one of the most prestigious newspapers in the world, but now we're talking about what it's like to ghost. So, first of all, why don't you tell us what the fuck is ghosting for those that don't know? Patrick, do you know what ghosting is? Are you familiar with this term at all?
Oh, good. You don't know what that is? Okay,
No.
awesome. So this is a good description of it. They asked for everyone's opinion of ghosting and if they've been ghosted or if they've ghosted somebody. And I think this person's from Washington, D.C. "I'm glad there's a term for this. It's more accurate than dumped. It happened to me a while back in a relationship of 18 months that had grown quite serious. After 3 weeks of silence, I decided someone ought to issue an acknowledgement and wrote him a note saying I was hurt and confused by his behavior, but had enjoyed the good times with him and wished him well. It felt right to offer my sincere closing on my end, even if his actions were rude and immature. So essentially, whether it's a relationship of 5 years and they're married and it's a bad relationship and they walk out and they don't give any reason why, or if it's like you've been dating for 2 weeks and you just stop answering calls. It's just cutting off communication cold turkey. That's what ghosting is, because you just like a ghost. You're out.
Drives me fucking insane.
Does this happen to you a lot?
No, but when it does, see, I'm the type that, like, okay, when I'm in a relationship, if there's any kind of tension, I'm the type that's like, all right, what's going on? We have to fucking figure this out. Like, we don't necessarily have to solve the problem, but I at least have to know all the details and what's going on so I can at least make my case.
Okay.
The whole just, I'm out, that fucks me up because I don't have my closure. That's what it is. I need closure. But why I get it is because there's not a single thing that the girl can say to me that would actually give me closure. So ghosting is actually probably the way to do it, but it's so fucked up because it's so
rude.
Now, it's not if you've been dating for 2 weeks. Then ghosting is that's normal to me, actually. But
what's an appropriate time? What's an inappropriate time to ghost on someone? Like,
if you've known each other more than 6 months, I think that you should at least, you owe that person this is why I don't want to fucking deal with you anymore. You at least owe them that, I think.
Jeez, I gotta make some phone calls, guys.
You ghost everybody or what?
No, I don't ghost anybody.
No, I mean, because I've done it and I've been ghosted. I get it. I have seen it from both sides, but to me, if a girl called me and was like, "This is bullshit. How are you going to ghost me like this?" I would say, "You're right, and I owe you a little. Like, this is why."
Sure. I think there needs to be a go-to for everybody. Like, if you're too big of a pussy to say like, "Hey, this is why I don't like you, and this is why this isn't working," I think there needs to be like a catch-all phrase. Like, we probably already have it in our minds. Let's be real. But it's like, "Sorry, I'm just not feeling this. I'm not interested in seeing you anymore." Like, that's it. There should just be a phrase that you just utter to someone, and at least, like, it's not as rude as ghosting, and at least it gives, like, the closure of it.
Well,
because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to continue texting people.
Yes.
And I'm not
because
saying
you don't know if you're just hanging and they're fucking with you, or they're playing a game, or
I'm not saying I'm not guilty of this. I am completely guilty of this.
Everyone's guilty of it.
Which sucks because you know how
Patrick.
You know how it feels to get ghosted, right? You're like, that felt shitty. Like, that was horrible.
Right.
Why didn't he like me? Or why didn't she like me? Why couldn't they just give me a reason? And then you're yourself in that situation where you're not ready to see the person anymore and they're ready to see you, and you ghost. But you just don't care. At least for me, I'm like, yeah.
No, because you would never ghost someone that you cared about.
Absolutely.
But let me take that. But now let me flip that a little bit. Here's where ghosting can become necessary, and that's after a long-term relationship.
Ghosting,
not always.
Ghosting can become necessary if you're in a really bad, I would say, abusive relationship. I think it's completely okay to ghost on the person who's.
That's, I think, for sure.
Yes.
But where I'm going more is actually where it's, excuse me, it's more of the mutually. Where you're kind of both okay with the breakup, but it's one. Here's what I've gone through in a couple of different relationships where you just kind of realize we really like each other, we really care about each other, but we aren't meant to be together, and we can't be friends.
But that's not ghosting. That's not ghosting.
But it becomes ghosting when one person still wants some kind of contact.
No,
Don't you think?
That's not ghosting. Ghosting is cutting off all contact
straight up without having any of that discussion.
Without a reason of why you're breaking up. If you're having a breakup conversation like, I don't want to see you anymore, this isn't working for me, and then you break up, and then you cut off conversation, that's not
just
ghosting.
Kind of normal,
that's just
right?
a breakup.
Yeah, you just have to do that. Yeah.
That's a breakup.
No, so ghosting's just fucked up.
Ghosting would also
we should all stop doing it because I have done it.
It's fucking rude as shit. And I think that's kind of my new goal now is for whenever I'm dating people and I'm not interested in anymore, to just be upfront, like when I'm finally positive.
Well, every guy wants to hear that, by the way, because no guy likes being strung along. I would much rather be told first date within 5 minutes. Yeah, you know what? This probably isn't going to work. Than to keep it going for 6 weeks and then you finally just realize, yeah, those 4 or 5 dates were fun, but I'm not into it. Like, just tell me right away. I would much rather know right away.
I agree. And I think, like, I don't think you need, if someone's not texting you back after a date and you don't want to text them back, like if it's a mutual, like not texting back, you don't need to be like, hey, I'm not interested in this. Like you don't need to call out that you're not interested.
First date, and then you're like, well, you know what? I'm really sorry, but
the person's like,
I just don't think this is gonna work out. Like, what's not gonna work out? You idiot!
Like, I wasn't fucking interested in either.
Yeah.
But if someone is still initiating conversation and still initiating like the relationship or wanting the relationship, then yes, I think that's when you like, you know, stop being a fucking pussy, stop being a wimp.
Yes.
Step up to the plate and like say how you feel.
And being mean in that respect is actually being nice.
It is.
I don't think I've ever been told by a girl, I'm not interested in gone, fucking bitch. Like it's more, oh, damn it. Like I couldn't get with her maybe, but it's never been like, what a bitch. It's always been more, she strung me along. What a bitch. You know, that's when you're mad. Where are we at on time now?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Where are we at? 40-something minutes probably?
No,
not even yet?
This is weird for you,
fun,
man.
yeah.
This
I
is
know. I'm
freaking out
so
over
used
there.
to knowing
I'll let
exactly
you know,
where we are.
Jason. Just focus on your dating problems.
Well, hold on. I'm in a little on-air production meeting. Do you know the sign for break in radio?
Yeah.
The little crack.
I remember when you were giving it to the other guy.
Okay,
I used to watch you guys. I was like, they're so cool. You'd be like, and I was like, yeah.
And wrapped it up. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, Jason's so cool.
The nice thing about not having not doing real radio, so having like spots that we play at certain times, you don't have to like throw the like this is 30 seconds. You don't have to worry about that.
You
we don't
can
have to
teach
get
me
that
that.
intricate.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you want? Let's talk. I think the Serena thing was interesting. Unless you have somewhere else you want to go with
You
this.
kept putting things on the June calendar, and we're not in June anymore.
I just throw up the podcast.
You don't want to talk
sheet.
about the laws of attraction?
I like the Serena
This is
conversation.
another New York Times.
Is it the Serena thing?
No.
Oh, the laws
The
of
laws of
attraction.
attraction.
Let's do laws of attraction. Then we'll end it with Serena.
Okay, this is considered the mate value, and it's kind of a convoluted article, so maybe this isn't the best one to talk about now since I'm really thinking about it. But
Actually, I think it's actually a super obvious article.
Right.
That's what I think is the
they're
point to talk
saying
about
for
here.
the most part, people of the same, like if you're going to give, if someone's like a 7 in terms of hotness and the other person's a 7 in terms of hotness or an 8 or a 6 or whatever, people are going to end up with people who are around the same like attractiveness factor.
Totally. That's been in a bunch of
Right.
movies. They're always
But-
play off that. bit.
But if you spend enough,
Hey.
whoa,
Settle down over there.
This is
She's got
called-
a point to prove here.
This is called upending the laws of attraction. You can spend a shit ton of time with somebody, become friends with them, not think they're attractive for a while, and then over time think they're super attractive by the end. And so you can have a lot of instances where friends are getting married, friends first, or just like acquaintances first, or whatever, and they end up liking each other and getting married and falling in love. And the guy could be a 3 and the woman could be a fucking 8, or the vice versa.
See, I think this is a duh article because
You think that can happen?
It totally does. It's a
it
psychological
happens all the time.
event.
Have you ever started to really like a
called
not
the
so cute
proximity.
girlfriend of yours?
Well, no, I mean, the proximity. Okay, there's multiple layers to this. First of all, I think almost every work girlfriend is that usually. Your work girlfriend's not hotter than your girlfriend usually. Your work girlfriend's on par with your girlfriend or a step below. It's more you have things in common that you don't have with your significant other in that case usually. But I think that I mean, I bring her up too often, but just let's go ex-girlfriend just because it's reference for me. She and I, when I first saw her, I thought she was very good looking and, instant attraction. But I was not nearly as attracted to her until she brought up the movie Coffee and Cigarettes and knew who the RZA was. And then I was like, oh my God, that's fucking hot. Just because I wouldn't have expected a girl who's 7 years younger than me, and this is a while back too, to not only I mean, Coffee and Cigarettes is a movie that I think was a little bit cult in very 90s, and to have watched that A, was already a turn on, but B, then to know who the RZA was, because my first reference was, hey, isn't Wu-Tang in that? And Bill Murray and blah, blah, blah. And then she loved Bill Murray too, and I was like, okay. So my only point being is that looks are, every girl loves Bill Murray. Like, that is the cool thing,
Bill
Larry.
Murray.
That is seriously the cool thing for a 25-year-old chick to love Bill Murray. That is super, super hip. But, and maybe, Molly, this is different man versus female, or male versus female here, but
It's called slow love.
Yes, and I love that term, actually. That's a very good term.
That's what it's called.
But I think that, at least as a guy, looks, of course, especially as a man, we're so visual that looks are the first thing you're attracted to. But if you're a 9 and you're a fucking moron, you become a 3. And if you're a 6 and you're really intellectual or into the same music I am or whatever, you become a 9. So does that go both ways though, sex wise?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I definitely go out with guys where everyone's like, oh my God, they're so fucking cute, Molly. I'm like, or attractive or whatever. I'm like, I know. And they're not, most of the time for me, it's like they're not accomplished. They're not driven. They're like kind of in this like man-child state of they shouldn't really be.
Every chick loves that guy. Why is that?
No, I'm saying that I don't like that.
No, but you're attracted to that guy and then you realize you don't like that. Isn't that what you're saying?
Yeah, but it's for me finding out more about him.
Yeah.
Like I'll go out with them under like because they're attractive and interesting and fun, and then I go out with them more and more, and then I'm like, oh my God, this guy has like stunted maturity. Like essentially where I'm at in my life is I need someone to be on the same level as me in terms of like schooling, probably income, like, or like at least the drive of wanting like the next step in, their career. And if the person's like, yeah, I'm just like happy chilling, it's like, no, man, no, like that's for me.
But well, okay, hold on. So basically what I'm saying is, as a guy, it's a lot easier for a 6 to become a 9, and what you just said it's really easy for a 9 to become a 6.
But it's also the same.
Does it go the other way around though?
I've had guy friends that
will you date the 6 and find out?
That's the thing. It probably is usually too late. So usually the 6s, what happens a lot of the time is you're friends or you kind of know each other and you're like, oh, they're kind of cute, but I'm not really sexually attracted to them. And then they maybe get a girlfriend or you start seeing a different side of them. And then all of a sudden,
when you become attracted to them.
You're like, oh, they're a really good boyfriend. They have a really good job.
They're
hate driven
women so much.
Yeah,
What?
I was just kind of.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's what you guys do. No, I don't blame you, but that is
Guys do
exactly
that
what you do.
too.
Oh, I do not think that guys very, very often sit around and go, oh, I missed that catch. No, we do not. Women do that all the time. I do not think that men go, boy, she was a 6, and now that she's with that guy, I realize she's a 9.
It's not because they're with somebody. It's because different qualities in them come out in certain situations that make them more attractive to women. It's not that they're taken per se, but it's that they've shown themselves to be like attentive, caring individuals.
You see how they are as a boyfriend.
Yeah, totally.
Is that kind of it? Because I don't think that, but I think that's not the same with a guy. You don't go, oh, that girl is such a good girlfriend to her guy.
Yes, sure.
But I do think that goes the other way around. I do think what you're saying is totally true, that women very often go, that guy's kind of cute. And then they go, oh, wow, he did so-and-so and brought her out to and not even brought her out because that sounds like it's like about money or something. But you can be like romantic or something, but you never would have thought the guy could be romantic. And now he's attractive. But like you said, it's too late.
Sure. And yes, absolutely. More qualities come out. But at the same time, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of shitty boyfriends out there. But
every girlfriend is magnificent.
No, I'm not saying that.
Where are you going with that, though?
I don't know. It's like amazing to me that I know so many guys who, not so many, I don't want to be like mean, but guys who will bitch about, and that's a huge turnoff, by the way, that makes you less attractive, is if you bitch about your girlfriend, or if you have nothing nice to say about your wife or your girlfriend.
Save it for your boyfriends.
When you're out with whoever, coworkers, girlfriends, group of friends, if you can't have one highly redeeming quality said about your girlfriend or wife or significant other, something is wrong, and like we don't like that.
Well, and it makes you look stupid for being with the person. It doesn't make the other person look stupid. It makes you look stupid, doesn't it?
I find more guys bitching about their girlfriends than girls bitching all the time about their boyfriends. It's pretty equal, I guess. But I do find a lot of that. And I'm like, why don't you break up with them? They're people that go over and they're dating, and all they do is bitch about their significant other.
Well,
and it's like,
don't you think competent people that are in an unhappy relationship, well, no, confident people aren't in unhappy relationships.
I hope.
Right?
I don't know.
No, I would just think that a happy person or a confident person would either break up with somebody who brought them down or just not be in that relationship in the first place.
Yeah.
But it's only unhappy people who are looking for attention that sit there and bitch about their relationships.
Yeah, maybe.
Right? Let's sneak in a break here. We'll come back with God knows what right here on the Pubcast.
Hey, this is Terry.
And Tracy.
We are going to be starting a new podcast here in Minneapolis called Eat This, Twin Cities. Why don't you tell everybody what that actually means?
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a weekly show on food, drink, music, events, and just other randomness. Anything great that's going on in the Twin Cities.
Plus, we're going to be doing some giveaways as well. That's right, prizes. People love prizes.
It'll be a ton of fun. Join us.
Tell us where they can find the podcast.
All right, it is eatthisTwinCities.com, or you can check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/eatthisTwinCities.
So, until next time, eat this, Twin Cities!
Join longtime radio personality and producer Kelly Guest and friend, CEO of Fantasy Gifts, Colleen Bertino, as they talk about all things sex, men, women. Lend them your ears and learn everything you wanted to know about sex and intimacy. Only here on the Alive and Social Network.
It's been a Twin Cities food legend for almost 30 years. It's been the anchor for the Minneapolis Warehouse District since it opened. And you may not know that the Loon Cafe can provide their outstanding creations and much, much more for your gathering, whether it's a private party or corporate event. For custom catering beyond the menu, contact the Loon Cafe. They'll create foods that will amaze your guests. Leave the cooking to someone else. Contact Brian at the Loon Cafe for your catering needs. Call 612-332-8342 or visit looncafe.com.
No, that's not Ghostface. Play Ghostface, goddammit. No, just hit Ghostface. Hit it right now. They can handle that. There we go.
What were
Yeah.
you playing?
I don't know. I hit one. I don't know what
This
the
is
hell's
Ghostface.
going on.
This
This is my
the one I
first
wanted to
time,
play.
guys. I'm
Talk-
learning.
no. I appreciate it.
It'll get better.
No, you have no idea how many times on 50,000 watt radio I would play a song and Michigan would go, no. That's the wrong one. Stop that one, Speed. Stop. All right, play 3. And then I would play 3. I'd play for 10 seconds. Nope, not that one. This is on 50,000 watt radio. We would do that. Just play song after song after song with him going, no, not that one.
Well, the Minnesota Pubcast is broadcast all over the world.
That's
so
true.
I think that's
true.
more than 50,000 watt radius, no?
Not quite the power from the antenna itself.
Not
but yes, the power of the signal can spread throughout the globe. So right there is Ghostface. That was the song that I played last week that nobody heard, but you heard us talk about it, so that's why I wanted to play it again. That's off Supreme Clientele, which is an underground album that nobody's ever listened to.
Dog hair on.
I'm always having some issues.
It's your
over here.
dog. You can't get mad. All right, you can break that down, bro. All right, so we're back. The Minnesota Pubcast. We got to talk about Serena Williams because, tell me that's not the Times, too, because we can't do everything
It
we
is
talk
the Times.
about.
Yeah,
I
that's
just said
definitely
it's
the
the New
Times.
Yorker. I just said
That's
it's
New
the
York.
New Yorker.
Okay. Oh, that's why you were pulling it up and you couldn't?
Yes.
As we talked about last week, if you listened to that horrible sounding show,
I did.
If
Please
you're
don't.
not just Patrick,
Please don't just skip that one.
You would have heard us talk about just
I hope it's not like our episode 50, which I don't think it is, but it
was 50
last week
even
wasn't
worse?
50. Oh.
Was 50
No,
the
I'm
one
just
after
saying-
54 or
I'm
something?
saying
now.
I don't like to hit milestones and then have a shit
And then
show.
suck.
I'm like, our 50th episode.
Congratulations.
It was horse shit.
Piece of shit.
Who cares? We're having fun.
We're having fun.
But so last week we talked
Making
about
ears bleed.
talked about women's sports, and basically I said that the U.S. women won the World Cup, and that is awesome. But they are not the best soccer team in the world. They're the best women's soccer team in the world, and that's why it's not looked at as that big of a deal because you're not the best team. You're just not. Serena in the New Yorker, they're talking about her possibly being the best United States athlete for the last 20
greatest
years.
athlete of all time.
Of all time? Was that what they were trying to say? I didn't know if it was. I thought maybe of a generation. Maybe of the generation.
Oh, well, for the love of God.
But either way, as you look it up.
America's greatest athlete.
Ooh. Well, yes, but now. She's saying now. Because she's saying, like, move over Tiger Woods,
This
move
week.
over a couple of other people. It's not saying of all time.
The greatest American athlete in a generation.
Thank you. Okay.
Won the U.S. Open again for the 6th time and 3rd year in a row.
But here, okay, so easy argument, though, is that she's the greatest American woman athlete. She
Who's
has
the-
never beat any of the greatest tennis players in the world. She hasn't. She's beat the best women. She hasn't beat the best men.
So, but the whole point of the article was comparing her record to other people's record, which is now she's essentially beat them. And
well, she's been amazing, but she's nothing compared to Tiger Woods, what he did to his sport. She's just not. She's been dominating, but the thing is, she's dominating a sport that no one plays and nobody gives a shit about anymore. That's the problem.
That's true. I don't think people don't give a shit.
What channel is Wimbledon on this year?
I don't know.
Yeah, it used to be on HBO for 20 years. It was on
I don't
a
know
pay network.
What's on what NBC?
No, I think it's on ESPN. But my point is that people used to pay to get HBO to watch Wimbledon.
Did you read this article, or you just
I read a lot of it,
no?
Yeah. No, I read a lot of it.
This was the body type.
If I didn't read the whole thing, I might have read the whole thing.
No.
They talk about that too, though. How there's all the men's comments about her aren't about her athleticism or any of that. It's her big ass, and she almost looks like a man and shit like that. And
she's all roided up.
That's not. But that's to me. That's not the point at all. She is a great female tennis player in her era. Who gives a shit? Nobody cares about male tennis right now. Tennis right now is off of the grid. Golf is bigger than tennis right now. I mean, and that's without Tiger. And Tiger made golf what it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a racist, you don't have to be sexist to not think she's the greatest athlete.
So can we even quantify and compare greatest athletes? If we're not going to, if we're not
male to female, that's hard. That's really hard.
I agree.
I'm saying, can we take all of the sports? Let's just look at the guys. Can we take all of the sports right now and say, who is the greatest athlete of this generation? Greatest male athlete of this generation? And then can we take all of the female athletes of this generation? Can we say, who is the greatest one? And then can we pit them against each other? Can we do that? But first, can we even come to a consensus of which genders are the best in all of sports?
And where do we put Caitlyn Jenner then?
But
sorry,
I do like that actually though. That's an because that is an interesting dichotomy here because she kind of runs the gamut.
When she was a man, she was the greatest male athlete of her time. So,
okay, let's.
I just got real serious.
No, I like it. Well, let me try to answer your questions kind of as you went there because. Let's go best male athlete of a generation. Let's see if I can even think of a couple. LeBron James comes to mind, obviously, right away. Tiger Woods, if you want to go golf. You've got Derek Jeter. You've got Kobe
Jordan.
Bryant. Michael Jordan to go a little bit further back.
We're naming a lot of basketball players here. That's interesting.
I think because basketball is almost the most athletic. Like you're showing the most different athletic skills. Baseball, like hitting a baseball is a very specific skill. There's guys that could hit the hardest, the best slider, curveball, fastball that could never do what LeBron James does, and vice versa. But I'm trying to think of, Wayne Gretzky, obviously the greatest hockey player I've ever seen.
Football player.
Greatest football. You can throw Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. You can throw a bunch of quarterbacks. You've got a bunch of running backs. There's a bunch of guys.
Come on.
It's got to be Olympic athletes. These runners and stuff. They got to be great athletes.
Yeah, Usain Bolt is one of the greatest runners of our time, and Michael Phelps, greatest swimmer of all time. But okay, hold on, just so we can make sure this is not racial and not about sex. Who gives a shit about Michael Phelps? I know he's got the most gold medals in a sport that no one on the world gives a shit about except for every 4 years. No one cares any other time. So to me, I'm very much compare that to Serena Williams. She is the greatest women's tennis player of my generation, and who gives a shit? That's it. I'm not racist or sexist for saying that. It's just, who cares about women's tennis? Nobody. Look at the ratings. Nobody's watching. Women's World Cup is more important.
Sure.
Way more important. I bet more people watched that final. I know more people did. Because more people watched that final than Stanley Cup finals.
Right.
Right. But it's an interesting thing to note that people aren't watching, even though you could put Serena Williams against some of the other greatest tennis players of all time, and she would probably win. She has one of the best consistent records. She's past her quote unquote prime of age, like Roger Federer's in his twilight, and he's 2 years older than her or something like that. And there's no she's not slowing down anytime soon.
Right.
So I don't know. It's hard because they make these huge statements like this. But it's interesting because she's so good. Why aren't more people watching, but people have liked tennis in the past. I loved watching Roger Federer growing up. I can't even think of another tennis player at the moment, but I loved watching
Andre Agassi.
and
Pete Sampras.
and all those guys. Like that was.
I liked watching Martina Navratilova even back in the day. I mean, I've gone back, but that far back, and I've watched
plenty of other.
What's the one? Who's the one that got stabbed?
Maria Sharapova was fun to watch.
Why can't I think of her name though? Why can't I think of her name? The one that got stabbed at Wimbledon or the French Open. Why can't you? Do you guys remember that? You're younger. You're not.
No.
You should remember this. Jesus Christ. Okay. And Steffi Graf, she was.
Yeah.
It was her and Steffi Graf were the two at the time. Anyway, but my point being is that all of those women that we just named, we care more about those women not because they were better than Serena, because Serena is she's even more fun to watch. She's a better
intense.
athlete.
Yeah.
But tennis mattered back then. I mean,
Yeah, it did.
what's her name? Billie Jean King. If Billie Jean King played tennis right now and was really good, nobody would know who her name was. No one would know her name because she's not good looking. She's not. I mean, the thing that makes Serena different too is not only she's black. She's a great. That's like Tiger too. When you're black and you're playing a sport that's super country club, super white, that makes you special to begin with.
But that also is a reason this article brought up. That is a reason why people don't. She is not lovable like some of these other people are. People are turned off in a way to her race.
I
think there's some of that. Maybe.
I think there's some of that, but
race,
I think there's a lot of
racism
it
there.
too. Is like her body type. She like looks way different than these women.
That's
You know,
another
she's
problem.
jacked,
Is then
huge
you're
biceps.
getting these critics who are saying she looks like a man. She's doing this. She's doing that. Rather than focusing on her athletic ability, and she really is beautiful, and she has an amazing body, and she has an
Right.
amazing athletic body. But you get these people who are turned off by not only her race, but by the fact that she quote unquote looks different. And that to me is really alarming. And I think it overshadows her like boldness and her I don't know, her ability to not give a shit really overshadows her actual athleticism. And in a lot of ways it has it hasn't helped her become like this America's sweetheart, which someone who maybe is not as good, but maybe a little quieter and maybe a little sweeter and maybe a little prettier, for some reason people love more and will tune in to watch.
Another great point that was brought up in that article was that she told a I think a girl, maybe might have been a ball boy. Or no, it was a line judge. It had to be a line judge. Because it was a football. It was a football. She told her that she was going to fucking shove the ball down her throat. And
I know.
multiple times, and was that at Wimbledon actually?
It was at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, okay. It was at a major though. And you just, I mean, come on. There's microphones everywhere. You know that's getting picked up. You can't say that. You just can't. By the way, Patrick, another on-air production meeting. Pubcast close is the next thing you gotta have pulled up, and then just bring the audio halfway down.
Here's the reverse side of that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, and
No, go ahead.
You're producing,
I can't stop producing
Education.
until I know it's taken care of. Until it's taken care of, then I know I'm good. But
he's watching the screen the whole time.
Hey, I've filled in as a host, and I did the same thing when I was on 15,000 watts.
But the reverse side of that is you have male tennis players that's what they're known for. They're known for being really brash and swearing.
Which male tennis players these days are known? I mean, John McEnroe, yes, in the 70s and 80s was known for that. Yes, he was
John
very
McEnroe,
good at that.
But people love John McEnroe,
Yep.
and people.
But I'm telling you, I know where you're going, and where the article was going was more like, well, why is this white guy accepted and loved for it, but this black girl's not? It's because they loved tennis then. Tennis was entertaining. It used to fucking matter. So when you had this guy that was brash and swearing at the ump and flipping off the crowd, and that was cool. No one cares about tennis. It's not the issue. If Serena Williams was I guess she'd have to be a male to make this important. But if she was a football player, she would be she'd be the most popular athlete in the world because it's the most popular sport. She's playing a sport that doesn't matter anymore. It's not about her. And thankfully, what is nice about the world these days is her sport isn't popular and isn't a very big deal anymore. And she's still worth how many millions of dollars? I mean, she still made it. She's still doing well. And like the article pointed out, she could be worth probably tens of millions more, if not hundreds of millions more. But again, I think it would be if the sport mattered, not if she mattered.
Sure. I get it. I think there is something to be said about her race. I think there's something to be said about her gender. And then it also is all, on top of the mountain of tennis doesn't.
But what is
matter
the
anymore.
what is the biggest part of that? Do you think it's the race and the gender, or
I don't
do you
know.
think it's the
I've
sport?
always been interested in tennis, but
You can hit that closing theme if you want.
I think it's a combination of things. But I don't know.
I mean, because I've always liked tennis too, but I'm the least interested in it than I've ever been in my entire life.
Okay, I will say though, closing statement, I would love to see Serena Williams against one of the really, really good male tennis players.
Ooh.
She is someone I would love to see go up against a man because she has the power and she has the athleticism and she's amazing.
Yo, Rafael Nadal. Let's see that.
Hit her
What
up.
6-1, 6-1 is how I'm calling that match. Because we're going to only play 3 sets. All right. God, Patrick, thank you so much. I believe this show sounded so much better than last week. Hopefully we can all get together again next week and do this. Till then, thank you so much for listening. We will see you next week.
God, you have to pee again?